Inside Tennis with the Cause is brought to you by Firkins Automotive. Find it at Firkins. And by Lakewood Ranch, named the 4th best-selling community in America. And by Nature's Right, natural products that work.
Hi, tennis fans. The Cause here with another half hour inside the world of tennis. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Get more bang for your buck during the 4th of July sales event at Firkins Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. July 1st through the 6th, take advantage of big holiday savings on hundreds of new vehicles. Over 800 new vehicles in all, including over 250 new Jeeps in stock. Act now for our best lease specials of the year with interest rates as low as 0% APR or rebates up to $8,000. Get more bang for your buck July 1st through the 6th, only at Firkins Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
We believe in families, in barbecues on Sunday afternoons, in PTA meetings and staying up late helping with homework. We believe in lifelong friends, in knowing your neighbors, in passing down traditions through generations, in having a place you want to call home. In Lakewood Ranch, we believe in community, where we love to live and laugh. This is our town. This is our common ground.
You know how important it is to warm up and stretch out your muscles before you begin running, jumping, and swinging a racket. Well, Muscle Honey is a blend of herbs designed to increase the blood flow, lymphatic flow, and flexibility of muscles so that you smoothly transition into activity. What's more, it contains pain-relieving herbs to help you push through boundaries and herbs to keep you from cramping up during periods of high output. It's not greasy or smelly, and if you rub it on all over, your muscles will be supple and pain-free for hours. Now that's a competitive edge.
Hi, tennis fans. Great as always to be with you. Wow, what a busy time on the professional tennis circuit, with the conclusion of the French Open at Roland Garros in Paris and the beginning of the championships, as we call it, Wimbledon, at the All England Tennis Club. And want a little closer to home, real-time American national level junior tennis? Check out the Florida Open at the Lexington Country Club in Fort Myers. It's that Little Mo tennis time of the year again, as I'm headed out to San Diego for the Little Mo Internationals. Hope to see some of our Suncoast rising stars out there. So what's on the show today? Well, we have another great one for you. We will get to know Steve Flink, our latest International Tennis Hall of Fame inductee. We will sit down with former world #1 women's doubles player and winner of 17 slam titles, Gigi Fernandez, with whom I worked one weekend at the Green Rackets Classic in Augusta, Georgia. We will take a look back at preeminent sports journalist Frank DeFord. We will share some Suncoast tennis happenings on our roving report. We will educate you with our Lakewood Ranch Pro Tennis Tip. You will be kept current with our Play Sarasota Magazine tennis calendar. So let's get it launched with Steve Flink. All of eminent tennis historian and journalist Steve Flink's media colleagues are extremely proud of his upcoming induction into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Steve and I spoke the day of his nomination. Well, Steve Flink, yesterday you gave us, journalists, the media, a vicarious gift, a celebration, a pre-celebration, not for the induction, but for the nomination. We're excited. Your colleagues just couldn't stop. Emails coming in, texts coming in. Share a bit of the early thrill that's there for just being nominated.
Well, especially seeing the official release and having my name in there with Andy Roddick and Kim Clijsters and Vic Braden and the wheelchair tennis player. I mean, it's the honor sinks in. The honor sinks in just to be nominated. If I'm fortunate enough to actually get in, that's and even obviously even more gratifying. But just to be on the ballot to me is very humbling.
You like it? Perhaps going in the year that Roddick's in there?
I wouldn't mind that at all. I mean, I covered his whole career, and I watched him win this U.S. Open here in 2003 when he saved a match point in the semifinals against David Nalbandian and went on to beat Juan Carlos Ferrero in the final. And I saw him play that epic Wimbledon final with Federer in 2009 that he lost 16-14 in the fifth. So I admired Roddick's spunk and his competitiveness, and of course Kim Clijsters as well. I thought she was very classy, and her comeback as a mother and coming back to win the U.S. Open as a mother, that was pretty remarkable as well.
Indeed. Take us back to those early days when your dad got you started.
He did. My father had always loved to play tennis, and I'd been inspired by watching him play in Connecticut. I'd count how many times he could snap his wrist and hit an overhead over the back fence. You know,
wow.
In other words, it would land just beyond the service line, and he had so much bite on it that it would bound right over the back fence. I'd be watching, and my friends and I would say, "That's two, that's two." Then later in the match, "That's five." And it inspired me a lot to play. And then later, he took me out to Wimbledon when I was 12, and I became hooked on the game. And luckily for me, I've been able to stay with it ever since.
You know Chris Evert as well as anybody, a family member you have become. What did you enjoy most about exposing her to the tennis world?
Well, what I enjoyed most about Chris Evert was that I was here at the U.S. Open in '71 when she made her great run as a 16-year-old all the way to the semifinals, losing to Billie Jean King, but winning some tremendous three-setters along the way, saving 6 match points against Marianne Eisel, and then defeating Francois Duran, Leslie Hunt, who were really wily veterans. And just following her all the way through her career from there, getting to know her well as a journalist and sort of becoming her Boswell of sorts. And I just feel like she's been, Ted Tinling had it right, she's probably the most gracious champion we've ever had. She knew how to win, and more importantly, she knew how to lose.
When it becomes official, you'll be joining Bud Collins, who paved the way. Share the feelings you've always had for Bud and the relationship that you had together.
I'm glad you brought him up, Kaz. Yeah, Bud Collins was one of the people who really helped me get started in tennis, because I met him in 1969 when I was 17 at Wimbledon. My father brought me around to the press room to introduce me to him. Then we became friends, and 3 years later he started having me work with him behind the scenes at Wimbledon, and then again here at the U.S. Open as a statistician. He would call me actually an aide de camp, which was typical of Bud. He was never going to leave you with the mundane expression of statistician. It was aide de camp, which I appreciated. But the point is, he became a great booster of mine from that time forward. And when I established full-time residence as a reporter in '74, Bud was always there supporting me, and we worked a lot together, sometimes even on the air in the '80s at Madison Square Garden at the Women's Tour Championships in the Garden. So I admired Bud immensely, and like everyone else, I was delighted when they named the media center here at the U.S. Open after him last year, and that he had just enough strength left to be here for that celebration. And of course, he's passed away, and we had his memorial in June. But Bud was a unique character. If I was able to join him at the International Tennis Hall of Fame as an inductee, I would be deeply honored.
He's going to be very proud of you. We all are going to be very proud of you. It's just a matter of counting down the days. Thank you, Steve.
Kaz, thanks for being with me. And I want all your viewers to know that there is only one Kaz, and you are one of the best in the business, if not the best.
Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Get more bang for your buck during the 4th of July sales event at Firkins Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. July 1st through the 6th, take advantage of big holiday savings on hundreds of new vehicles. Over 800 new vehicles in all, including over 250 new Jeeps in stock. Act now for our best lease specials of the year, with interest rates as low as 0% APR or rebates up to $8,000. Get more bang for your buck July 1st through the 6th, only at Firkins Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
We believe in families, in barbecues on Sunday afternoons, in PTA meetings and staying up late helping with homework. We believe in lifelong friends, in knowing your neighbors, in passing down traditions through generations, in having a place you want to call home. In Lakewood Ranch, we believe in community, where we love to live and laugh. This is our town. This is our common ground.
Hi, I'm Ashley Fisher, and you're Inside Tennis with the Cause.
Tennis fans, thanks for staying with us. Wow, it was terrific catching up with Gigi Fernandez. You will enjoy getting to know this legendary Slam champion. 17 slam doubles titles. Number 1 in the world. Gold medal. Not bad. How did you get into this game, Gigi? In Puerto Rico, somehow, somewhere.
Well, I was 3 years old, and my parents used to go to the club, and I would just hit balls against the wall because I was too little to hit the ball over the net. There was no little rackets back then, so I had a big old wooden racket that was bigger than me. And I kept asking for tennis lessons for my birthday. At 3, at 4, at 5, they wouldn't give them to me. And then finally, when I turned 7, I got my first lesson. And I was just born with this God-given talent of hand-eye coordination. I had just really great hands since I was a little girl. And fortunately, I found the talent and I found the passion for it. And, and I first spent my whole life in tennis, and it's been really blessed and lucky to have had this life.
You had a blessed family, a unique family. Your father was a doctor. You had a cousin who was an actor.
Yep, Academy Award winner.
Wow.
Jose Ferrer. Yep.
What was life like growing up in Puerto Rico?
It was fairly isolated because Puerto Rico is a small island, and I had no role models. This is back in the 60s, and girls didn't play sports. When I just kind of played tennis, and I didn't know that I could make a career out of playing tennis, and I had to sort of blaze my own trail because, like I said, there was nobody I could say I want to be like her. Not just in Puerto Rico, but in Latin America, there was no. Maria Bueno was the only person that ever.
Legs Bueno.
Yeah, and I didn't know her at the time. She was sort of already been out of the game, so I really truly had no role models, and it was a bit of fate that I turned into a professional tennis player. I really had the fortune of being recruited by a couple of coaches to play NCAA tennis, and
Clemson is where you went.
Ended up playing at Clemson, and I made the finals of the NCAA as a freshman. And I still really didn't know if I was going to make it or not, but I took the fall off after my first year, and my ranking was 80 in the world. Well, I was still an amateur, and my dad made the decision for me to turn pro because I had a scholarship, and free education is not something that we took lightly. So he said I should turn pro and he would pay for my education later, which I held him to. So I turned pro and had a pretty good career.
Indeed, you have. 17 in singles. We know how great you were in doubles. Singles influenced the doubles, or doubles influenced the singles, or both?
I was always training for singles. I was always trying to be a better singles player. And then the doubles got better because of that. I never, until my last year on tour, I didn't specialize on doubles. I didn't just play doubles throughout my career like a lot of people do now. I think at some point in there, when I started winning Grand Slams in doubles, I realized that I was going to be better at doubles than singles. But I kept trying to get into the top 10 in singles. That was my goal, to be in the top 10, and I never achieved that, but I didn't stop trying.
Education has meant a lot to you. You went back, got a degree at the University of South Florida, got your master's also in Florida at Rollins in business.
Yep.
What's the education helping you do right now?
Yeah. No, it's been a very interesting journey because when I retired from tennis, I had to look for something to do, and it was kind of hard because I was 34, which is pretty young to be retired. And I woke up one day, and the thing that I had done my entire life, 24/7 for 25 years, is no longer there. So what do you do? So I started opening businesses. Like I was an entrepreneur, and I did a lot of.
Baby Goes Pro was one, right?
Oh, I had Planitia, which was an internet shopping cart. I did real estate. I did a wine cellar company. I did a weight loss company. I did a lot of things, not very successful. And then I got the MBA. It's like, okay, I need to learn how to do this right. So note to self, next time, get the MBA first and then open the businesses, right? So I got, learn how to become a business person and how to make smart business decisions. And also what I decided to do was to embrace tennis. And when I retired, I didn't want anything to do with tennis. I wanted to be something other than Gigi Fernandez, a tennis player. So I decided to embrace that. And now I've been in this world of, the other side of tennis for the last 15 years or so, and coaching. I was director at a facility. I coached the Puerto Rican Fed Cup team. I coached the university. I coached 2 Grand Slam champions. I've coached just about at every level, and I really found my niche coaching recreational players. I really love coaching recreational players. They're so eager to learn, and they work so hard to get better, and they don't, unlike juniors, they don't debate me. Juniors tend to think like they know it all, which is kind of hard for me to have a 15-year-old debate my knowledge of doubles. So I was like, you don't want to hear it, then I don't want to teach you. So I just teach adults, and I love it. And I've been traveling around the country doing Master Doubles with GG clinics. I've done over 100 of them now. And I go to clubs like I am here today at Augusta and teach people how to play doubles. And I now created a online instructional program. It's called the GG Method. And the GG Method is how I play doubles, how I won 17 Grand Slams, only it's modified to the level of the player. And it's on video and available for $47, which is pretty remarkably cheap.
To become educated by Gigi Fernandez?
We just launched it last week, so I'm really excited about it. And then I do travel experiences. I take people to Wimbledon and the French Open, the U.S. Open.
You love coaching. It's obvious here in Augusta. At all levels, recreation, at the pro level, because you handled Lisa Raymond and Renee Stubbs and Sam Stozer, and college, University of South Florida. What do you enjoy passing on the most?
I think I enjoy passing on my knowledge. I feel like I know so much about doubles. Like I said earlier, born with this God-given talent of hand-eye coordination, but I was also born with this innate instinct and ability to understand doubles and read the doubles court. Like when I was 12, I won the Puerto Rico National Championships in the adult division as a 12-year-old. Yeah. So
I didn't card you back then, just let you play.
So I just know doubles. It's really obvious to me. I see the court, I see the mistakes, I see what people are doing wrong. And it's very black and white in my world. Like there's a right way and a wrong way, and it's very black and white. There's no debating it. So I'm trying to pass that on because people want to get better at doubles, and I see the mistakes they make are so fixable. I mean, you can improve immensely in doubles by just learning positioning, court coverage, and movement, and shot selection. Without even hitting a better forehand or a better backhand or a better serve, you become a better doubles player just by learning these things, and that's fun to me to see people improve.
Beautiful life with your kids. You have twins. Yes.
8.
Carson and Madison. Yeah. What have they added to your life, Gigi?
Well, I mean, they've sort of saved me, in a way.
Saved you?
Yeah, because I was, it was hard when I retired, and I was very young to be retired. And
still are very young.
Well, I mean, it's 34 is really young to be retired, and you have a whole life to live. And I was going through some depression, and I didn't really know what to do with myself. And I tried for a long time to be a mom. I tried for 4 or 5 years, and finally they came, and then you learn the true value, or you learn the true essence of unconditional love and being selfless, which, tennis players are very selfish by nature, athletes in general. So I learned how to be selfless, and I think they've made me a better player, a better person, not a better player, a worse player.
Makes you a better player also,
I don't
Gigi.
know about that. I think, I've been getting progressively worse for the last 20 years, so I'm not a better player.
Not in our eyes. Hey, you got to get back to work right now and play.
Yes.
Thanks for your time today, Gigi.
Thank you.
If you pull a muscle or twist an ankle or damage a shoulder or elbow, it can put you out for weeks or more. You can't afford to miss that much time. Bruise, strain, and tear repair is an herbal gel that absorbs through your skin to promote healing of tendons and ligaments and soft tissue damage. It relieves pain, improves flow to the region, and increases the rate at which reparative tissue is being made. It even works on old injuries and will keep the repair going as long as you keep applying it. No athlete should be without this stuff.
Get more bang for your buck during the 4th of July sales event at Perkins Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. July 1st through the 6th, Take advantage of big holiday savings on hundreds of new vehicles. Over 800 new vehicles in all, including over 250 new Jeeps in stock. Act now for our best lease specials of the year, with interest rates as low as 0% APR or rebates up to $8,000. Get more bang for your buck July 1st through the 6th, only at Firkins Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
Yo soy Tiago y estoy con Tennis in the Coast.
Frank DeFord and I got to be friends. I was working at Sea Colony in Bethany Beach, Delaware. Frank was the owner of Club Bethany Tennis, also in Bethany Beach. He was very influential in my broadcast career. We're with legendary sports journalist and broadcaster Frank DeFord. You've given us so much in all the sports. How did you develop this passion for tennis?
Covering tennis since back in the 1960s, and it was something I just fell into. I was at Sports Illustrated, and at that time, almost nobody cared about tennis. And they wanted to do a tennis story, and they asked me, did I know anything about tennis? And I lied and said, yes, I did. And very shortly thereafter, I was sent on another story to Mexico City, and I thought, you know, this ain't bad. It's better than covering basketball where you go to Evansville, Indiana, or someplace. And so then I just, from there on in, I just got closer and closer, and I really love the sport.
One of my most memorable nights was having dinner with this guy in Bethany Beach, talking about your book, Bill Tilden. What did you discover about that legend of the game?
I'd heard a lot of stories about Bill, but they had never really been written. It was part of the public record that he'd been arrested twice for pedophilia, had gone to jail. All the sad stuff was there. It's just that everybody had kind of consciously put it out of their mind. And so it was a question of going back. This was about 20 years after he died, and people were ready to talk then. And I think it was a very sympathetic portrait that I put together.
The book's coming out again, is that true, Frank?
I'm amazed to hear that it is coming out again after all this time. I'm really excited about it. I think that Tilden was a sad figure. He was a tragic figure, but he was a great, heroic tennis player.
That night we talked about the possibilities of a movie. Will we see this ever as a movie, Frank?
Not 3 or 4 months go by in the last 20 years in which somebody doesn't come to me and say, I want to make a movie of Big Bill Tilden. But as they get closer to making it work, they just decide that the story is too sad. And for drama, you need some kind of resolution besides just the greater and greater sadness. And that's really the trouble with why we won't, at least for this moment, see a movie.
Let's go to the other side of the net, yes. Something a little more jocose for us. You brought us some brilliant, brilliant pieces with HBO. What were some of your favorites?
Oh, I love doing some of the historical pieces. One on Suzanne Longland, the great tennis player, great female tennis player who was more or less Tilden's contemporary. We did a wonderful piece on Dick Williams, who survived the sinking of the Titanic to come back and make the finals of what was then the U.S. Open. So I also liked a lot of funny pieces. I did one on how players don't hold 2 balls anymore, and told stories about, believe it or not, that was sort of part of the tennis lore. So I had a wonderful opportunity at HBO to do everything in tennis, from the fun to the idiosyncratic to the historical to the important. I'm very upset that we gave up the contract.
Well, let's go down the line again with another fun shot. Billy Martin, Miller Lite.
Oh, that's right. I was the Miller Lite All-Star sports writer. And indeed, I did do a commercial with Billy and with Marv Throneberry. Both sadly have died. Marv, if you remember, was Marvelous Marv. Who was
Marvelous Marv, indeed.
Mostly for his mistakes.
Billy was Billy. Tell us about Billy Martin.
Billy was an absolutely mercurial figure. Billy could be sweet, Billy could be generous, and then Billy could just about lose it. And which, of course, we all know from his baseball escapades, that he could be a brilliant manager and then turn around and get into a barroom fight that same night. So a fascinating guy to work with. I always had a delightful time with him.
All right, Frank, I want to know, I think they want to know, how many cans of beers and how many takes did it take to get that right one with Billy Martin?
Well, you must say, when you're shooting a commercial, they won't let you drink the product. Now, that doesn't mean that when you finish the commercial and go back to the hotel, that you don't do an awful lot of drinking of the product. But during the shoot, you have to be abstinent.
Looking forward to our next dinner in Bethany, talking about that movie, I hope.
Great, David. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I
Thank you,
enjoyed
Frank.
it. Delighted.
Hi, I'm Paul Litterman, Director of Tennis here at Lakewood Ranch. I've been here 19 years. And one of the questions that consistently comes up with these league play, we have over 85 leagues here, is in the deuce court when I'm returning, I can't keep that ball away from the service forehand. How about trying to work on that lob down the line, get it over that net person's head, have your partner come across, and cut that next volley off for a winning game?
Yes, yes, yes. It's time for the Lakewood Ranch Tennis Pro Package giveaway drawing, which includes 3 clinics with Paul Letterman, plus a 1-hour private training session with the Cos. I'm looking for a new national champ, and it could be you. Let's see who is going to be this time. David Murphy, we will be in touch. I can see a real champion in this one. Visit the Lakewood Ranch Information Center at 6220 University Parkway or 11506 Rangeland Parkway to register for our bi-weekly drawing. And here's our Play Sarasota Magazine tennis calendar. July 8th, United Tennis Academy Players Championship Level 7 with Jeff Russell. July 22nd, Celsius Junior Classic Level 7 10 and under Orange Regional Qualifier with Gary Cohenauer. July 29th, New Generation Championships Level 7 with Travis Eckert. Then plan to join in the global tennis action at the Creek Cup USA by 10 Pro Global Junior Tour at the magnificent PGA National Resort in beautiful Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, August 13th through the 19th. So you come to tournaments to play? You'll get it here at the Creek Cup USA, where each participant is guaranteed 4 singles matches. Oh, when you want some superb lead-up pre-tournament world-class training with 2-time slam winner Johan Kriek, join the workouts at his camp the week before. For more information about the Creek Cup USA tournament, visit johankriektennis.com or call 561-814-3655. Johan and I will be looking for you at the Creek Cup USA. Tennis fans, great to have you with us on Inside Tennis with the Cos. We love our sponsors, and you will too. Stop by and see them. Until then, remember, in tennis scoring, love means nothing, but love of the game means everything. Keep alive your love of the game. Love you, tennis fans, and we'll see you right here every Saturday, 12:30 on SNN.
Inside Tennis with the Cos has been brought to you by Firkins Automotive. Find it at Firkins. And by Lakewood Ranch, named the 4th best-selling community in America. And by Nature's Right, natural products that work.